All right, folks, welcome back. Game 2 coming up for today. Thanks for sticking around. You guys having fun so far or what? The folks in the beer garden, are you guys sleeping? Come on. There we go. Usually they're the loudest in the room, even if there's only 3 of them. Anyway, we got another home team, the Cutthroat Car Hops in the teal, facing off against a mixed team from Alberta, Saskatchewan, and British Columbia. The Rotten Angels, some of them have come from a pretty decent distance to be here today. I know they got some fans and friends in the crowd. We're just about ready to introduce our teams. They ready?
We're just going to have a minute while the teams finish their pregame chat. Sometimes we get excited as announcers.
What's that?
And I mean that in a wholesome way.
Sure. I have no idea what you said.
That's okay.
All right. You gals ready to roll? All right, time to introduce our away team, the Rotten Angels, again from Alberta, BC, and Saskatchewan. Starting in rough numerical order with number 3, Soul Taker. Number 9, Roxy Balboa. Number T122, Badger. Number 67, Small Fry. Number 22, Shell on Earth. Number 28, Tempest Storm. Number 29, Mischief Devious. Number 46, Ginger Vitus. No? Number 71, Super Tramp. Number 94, Scourger. She has some friends in the crowd. Number 131, Corporal Punishment. Number 157, Black Betty. U812, Sour Cherry. 2011, Amuse. Last but not least, number 656, Vilana Torred. And on the bench for the Rotten Angels, what is it? Coach Rotten. One more time for the Rotten Angels, folks.
All right, it is my pleasure to introduce the Cutthroat Car Hops. Starting with number 15, Jigsaw. Number 17, Sailor Moonshine. Number 21, Novel Blonde, Team Captain. Number 28, Saber Tush. Number 30, Front Page Bruise. Number 31, Taz. Number 32, Team Captain Lucy Flawless. Number 40, Margaret Thrasher. Number 63, Birkenstocker. Number 265, Andy Linquent. Number 302, Easy Break Oven. Number 934, Monster Maggie. Number 1117, Impalin' Nailin'. And number 1496, Menafright. And on the bench, we've got Jenny Guns and Slap Chop. Ladies and gentlemen, the Cutthroat Car Hops. Jenny Guns and Slap Chop. I got that.
All right, officials, the track is yours.
Well, I mean, it's ours, but you can use it.
We just let them borrow it for an hour or so.
Our first jam's about to start. The Rotten Angels have Black Betty on the line, and she's taking on Cutthroat Car Hops number 302, Easy Brake Oven.
An early sprint for Easy Brake Oven and lead jam in the hands of the Car Hops as she rounds turns 1 and 2. Black Betty also free of the pack. The pack stretching out between turns 1 and 2.
And Easy Brake calls off the jam. No points scored there.
Hey, that was just like the first jam of the first game.
It was. I have a strong sense of different colored deja vu.
Maybe that's just like the test one. You know when you go bowling and you do, let's all just roll one first before we actually start counting? It's kind of like that.
Exactly. I also like to think of my first Jager bomb that way. The one
First
that
one doesn't count. It's just practice.
Exactly.
Roxy Balboa and Menafrite at the jam line now in black and teal respectively. It's a bit of jammer posturing there. Menafrite tries to get a hip check on Roxy before the pack starts moving forward after the whistle.
And Menafrite picks up, my bad. I saw hand movement. Called on a cut track penalty, so Menafrite's going to be in the little bit more interesting penalty box. That's going to give, as of right now, Roxy Balboa the power jam.
Taz and Front Page Bruce tried to slow her down, but Roxy Balboa has that lead, as you pointed out there, Jim. The pack in now turn 3. Roxy Balboa facing a full accompaniment of 4. Palin Nailing, Taz, Jigsaw, and Front Page Bruce helping out. Roxy Balboa finds the opening on the inside of turn 4, taps the hips, and first tracks for the Rotten Angels. 5 points up on the board at the end of Jam 2.
And Badger is going to have the power start for the Rotten Angels. It's pretty easy when they all line up to figure out which one's Badger.
There's something about her. I don't know what it is, but I can always pick her out in the lineup.
It's around the eyes. Badger up against that teal wall, which is one of the strangest things that I have to say in my day. Menafrite picks up lead jam.
Menafrite stole that lead jam away. She got out of the penalty box before Badger could make it clear. Power jam in the hands of the Cutthroat Car Hops. Menafrite got forced to the outside by Sour Cherry in between pivot and jam lines.
I guess it's better to say, like, wall of teal than teal wall, because teal wall just seems like it'd be something you trip over after a while. Teal wall.
Tongue twister. No additional points to our teams at the end of Jam 3. Rotten Angels holding that lead of 5. Car Hops yet to score. Black Betty and Lucy Flawless at the jam line this time around. Lucy Flawless stepping around her teammates. Black Betty trying to find that opening. Taz making sure it's not that easy. Scourger got a back block. She's off to the penalty box. Lucy Flawless through cleanly has lead jam for the Car Hops. Flawless takes a bit of a spill there in turn 2. Back up on her feet through. Both jammers have a point scoring position. Black Betty rounding the track. Flawless picks up an additional 5 and calls it off. We have a tie game, Jim.
We have a tie game. This could go either way. 5 apiece. If you add that together, Lloyd, you get 10.
Technically, this is the second tie of the game.
That's true. Did you say you've had 5 drinks? 5 plus 5.
Front Page Brews and Roxy Balboa out on the jam line this time around. Monster Maggie and Novel Blonde making it difficult for Roxy Balboa. Just about pushed her to the outside. She crosses to the inside. Hot track penalty on Front Page Brews. Sends her to the penalty box.
That should make this a little more interesting.
Impala Nalen is off to the penalty box. I believe it was a low block call in turn 2. Power jam for Roxy Balboa as she reapproaches the pack in turn 2. Super jam. We miss Broad Crusher, don't we?
And Roxy Balboa calls off the jam, grabbing 5 points.
A quiet end to jam 5. Our scores now. Rotten Angels at 10. Cutthroat Car Hops at 5. 24 minutes and 7 seconds left to play in this first half.
Badger takes the line with a very Badger-like ferocious nature.
Why do you keep saying the name twice? Are you like Jacob Tutu or something?
Something like that. Big hit there on Badger by Lucy Flawless.
Flawless. Front Page Brews repositioning back in between the jam and pivot lines. Sour Cherry and 029. Mischievous holding her back. Number 71, Supertramp off to the penalty box now. Along with number 029, Mischievous. Another 0-0 jam.
Which is also a tie.
That's true. 6 jams down, points holding at 10-5 for Rotten Angels, and 23 minutes left to play in this first half.
Still, I got to tell you, 5 points, that's not an insurmountable deficit right now.
That's 1 power jam. 1 super jam.
Black Betty taking the line for the Rotten Angels, and she's taking on Monster Maggie for the Car Hops.
A first jam for Monster Maggie in this game, and lead in the hands of the Car Hops.
Breezing through that pack like tumbleweeds through every bar that's not Cowboys right now.
What's a cowboy? Monster Maggie trying to squeak out additional points. 2 for the Car Hops at the end of jam 7. Sorry, make that 3 points. 10-8 now for Rotten Angels. 22 minutes and 10 left to play in the first half.
And taking the line this time, we've got Easy Break Oven for the Car Hops taking on Roxy Balboa. I always want to chant like easy breaks it, break it easy. And an easy break, glistening through the pack.
The wind whistled in everyone's ears as she broke through that pack. Forearm penalty on Roxy Balboa is going to send her to the penalty box. That's going to give Easy Break Oven the power jam.
With a hop, skip, and a jump, there's 5 points for the Car Hops. Easy Break was forced to the outside there, had to cycle back in. Meanwhile, Novel Blonde picking up a penalty, heading to the little more interesting penalty box. Also, we like Harley Davidsons.
Pack now in turn 4. Roxy Balboa and Easy Break Oven looking for their openings in that pack. Sour Cherry and Corporal Punishment making it difficult for Easy Break. She ducks through on turn 2, picks up 4 points, and rounds the track.
And Roxy Balboa makes through her first pass. Easy Break Oven picking up 4 more points for the Car Hops.
After 8 jams now, 19 minutes and 45 seconds left to play. Cutthroat Car Hops at 31, a lead change, and Rotten Angels now holding at 10.
See, when I said that 5 points wasn't defining, I was right. That lead can still change.
You called it, Jim. Do you know
like
the lottery numbers for tonight, too?
No, I only like to take the easy wins. Probably a fine time to quickly remind you guys of the fine people that are helping us make this night happen. We've got Cadence Chiropractic and Sports Therapy. They're the ones that are taking care of our skaters that get a little banged up on the track. We got the fine folks at Popeye Media who are streaming this, making video, and they do all kinds of other video stuff. If you've got a project, pretty much they can do it for you. So check them out. Village Brewery, if you have any brain cells and you want to soak them with delicious malted beverages, they will hook you up. Dennis Plinth and Associates with Sotheby's International Realty. They will sell you either a real home or possibly even an inflatable home that your kids can jump in.
Big shout out too to our DJ, Arson, who's here once again every time. Awesome job, picks up on the intricacies of our speech and plays some cool stuff. So huge thanks from CRDA to Arson as well.
Men of Fright and Badger Badger.
Divide and Conquer seems to be the name of the game for our jammers. Trying to burst through that wall. Scourger and Amuse keeping Men of Fright at bay. Temporarily Badger Badger passes. Lead jam in the hands of the Rotten Angels.
Badger Badger, a feral animal out there.
Seething at the mouth.
Seething at the mouth.
Frothing at the mouth.
Gnashing her teeth to get through the back. And manages to pick up 1 more point.
1 apiece for our teams at the end of Jam 9. 19:05 left to play in the first half. Folks, don't forget about Vendor Village over there. We've got South Hill Designs, Sparrow Apparel, 31 Gifts, the CRDA Bake Sale, of course, Team and League merch tables, and Dickens, again in the beer garden, hanging out with our alcohol drinking friends.
Fine folks at Dickens have all sorts of great shows coming up, so if you're bored one night, head on down and check them out. Looks like we will not have a lead jammer. This is going to go the full 2 minutes.
Monster Maggie's off to the penalty box for a forearm penalty.
However, as much as it's not anyone with a lead jam, Black Betty does have the power jam.
5 points up on the board. And the Car Hops taking penalties left, right, and center. Saber Tush, Monster Maggie, and Sailor Moonshine in the penalty box as Black Betty picks up another 5 for the Rotten Angels.
Black Betty with a great move, but getting knocked to the outside by Taz. Taz and Birkenstock are doing a good job of tying her up and killing some of those seconds, but she makes her way through the back and grabs 5 points. Also, Harley Davidson.
Vroom, vroom. I just can't impersonate a motorcycle. I've tried.
I just really want Arsenal, or Arson. Arson's going to play Danger Zone for me today. I know it. Monster Maggie pushing her way through. Picking up 4 points. Both jammers picking up 4 points there. A pair of fours, which normally you'd probably, not bet the house on, but
An attempted apex jump by Monster Maggie. Incomplete. She drops to her knees and repositions behind turn 3.
and that is why you are the best DJ in the world.
Indeed. Jim, we have a tie game again.
We do have a tie game, 39 to 39.
Where's Lloyd? He's only got 5. There's 39.
Yeah, they're
it's
up
now
to 39.
39, dude. You got a lot of ways to catch up.
Roxy Balboa taking the line for the Rotten Angels. She's taking on Front Page Brews. I just really needed to hear that. I'm sorry. It was good.
Cut track penalty on Roxy Balboa is going to send her to the penalty box.
Front Page gets lead jam. And of course, this is a super jam.
Pack now holding just past turn 2. Front Page Brews took a big block by Scourger. Has to reposition back almost to turn 2. Lots of defense going on. Front Page finally breaking through. 5 points up on the board for the Car Hops. An attempted whip there by Easy Break Oven on Front Page Brews. Front Page got knocked to the outside in turn 1. Taps the hips and comes away with 3 points at the end of Jam 11. Effectively now, Car Hops at 47, Rotten Angels at 39. Just under 15 minutes left to play in the first half.
And we've got Badger taking on Menafright.
Menafray with a sprint to the inside, picks up lead jam for Car Hops, the pack. A flurry of activity as they approach turn 2. Badger still looking for that initial pass. Sailor Moonshine up front, trying to hold her back. Impala Nailing off to the penalty box. Two points to the Car Hops at the end of Jam 12.
Easy Break Oven for the Car Hops taking on Black Betty for the Rotten Angels.
It's Classics night at the CRDA, Game 8.
Black Betty helped along by Easy Break right into a solid Lucy Flawless hip check. Took her to the back of the pack. And Easy Break picks up lead jam.
Easy Break Oven with a signature apex jump. Huge hop by the Car Hops.
I see what you did there.
You saw that?
Hop
You
by
like
the
that?
Car Hops.
Cutthroat Car Hops now at 54. Rotten Angels at 39. 12:53 left on the clock in this half.
I'll tell you, it's a darn good thing they weren't called the Cutthroat Car Fall when you do an apex jumps, because then that would have changed everything. That was a great apex jump, too.
I'm pretty sure the room dropped. And then
Men of Fright jamming for the Car Hops, taking on Roxy Balboa for the Rotten Angels. And Men of Fright quickly through the pack, grabs lead jam.
without permission or passport, Menafright slides through, picks up an additional 4 and taps the hips, calls it off.
We have the battle of alliterative names. Monster Maggie taking on Badger Badger. And I am saving everyone when I do not sing the Badger song.
Much appreciated. Monster Maggie and Badger Badger looking for an opening in their opponent walls. Badger Badger getting wrapped up by Novel Blonde Easy Break Oven. Some effective defense from both of these teams. Neither jammer seems to be making much progress. Big shoulder hit by Scourger on Monster Maggie. Clockwise block, I believe, went out to Scourger. She's off to the penalty box. Lead jam in the hands of the Car Hops.
And Monster Maggie picking up 5 points, cutting through the pack like a knife through a guy who really needed to get cut.
He had it coming. Birkenstocker off to the penalty box.
And Maggie calls off the jam. Grabbing 4 more points there for the Car Hops. Stretching out that lead. We're looking at 67 to 39 right now. Still over 10 minutes left in the first half. A whole another half still to come. It could go either way.
Could go either way, too. Either.
You say tomato, I say tomato. Black Betty taking on Lucy Flawless.
Black Betty with a spin pass through the pack. Picks up lead jam for the Rotten Angels. Lucy Flawless through the pack as well. A forearm penalty, though, is going to give the power jam to the hands of Black Betty and Rotten Angels.
Or for our French fans around the world, it's a super jam.
I love soup. Black Betty with another 5 points on that pass. Pack now holding in between turns 3 and 4. Jigsaw and Delinquent and Taz trying to keep Black Betty from passing once more. She finds a way through on the outside, taps the hips and calls it off for 2 more at the end of Jam 16. 9 minutes and 20 left to play in the first half. Cutthroat Car Hops at 67, Rotten Angels at 46. We've got both jammers starting in the penalty box. But Flawless is on her feet. That means she'll be released first.
Flawless ninjaing her way through the pack there. Gets lead jam.
Car Hops holding that back wall. Front page Bruce and Palin Nailin and Margaret Smasher. Flawless passes with that lead jam. 5 points. That jammer lap point included.
Little known fact about Lucy Flawless, that's not her real name. In fact, her real name is Lucille Flawless. She goes by the more derivative Lucy, more colloquial.
We like nicknames here. Nicknames are cool. 4 additional points to the Car Hops at the end of Jam 17. 76 to 46 now, your score. Less than 8 minutes left to play in this first half.
Harley Davidson.
Roxy Balboa and Easy Break Oven going shoulder to shoulder this time around. It's a 5-on-4 for the Car Hops. Easy Break Oven through first and clean. A lead jam in the hands of the Car Hops. Roxy Balboa free of the pack as well. Both jammers looking to score points now. Easy Break, undetected, under the radar, sweeps through the stretch and picks up 4 points, taps the hips and calls it off.
And I'd give a little credit on that one also to Menafright for out of nowhere punching a little bit of a hole for her.
We do tend to get by with a little help from our friends, Jim.
Absolutely. It's like that guy sang, you know, that guy, Elvis. Monster Maggie lining up against Badger Badger. Again, the alliterative names. That's right. I know what the word alliterative means. Monster Maggie picks up lead jam. I believe that we had a back block called. I'm not sure if that was Supertramp or Taz, but someone got a call. A couple people are going to the penalty box, which is, of course, a little more interesting.
Always. Hey, Jim, remind me never to take you to music trivia. That song that you were referring to was clearly not by Elvis. It was by Bruce Cockburn.
Really, Bruce Springsteen. Love his work. Remember, I keep dropping the name of a little more interesting. They are our sensual, tasteful, romantic, sex-positive boutique. It's woman-friendly, non-judgmental atmosphere. They've got 3 locations, Kensington, McLeod Trail, 17th Avenue, and they are awesome. And I love that they sponsor our penalty box.
Lucy Flawless and Roxy Balboa, your jammers now, as Roxy Balboa picking up lead jam for Rotten Angels now in Jam 20. Pack creeping towards turn 3. Car hops holding that rear wall. Front page bruise. Holding Roxy Balboa at bay, knocking her out. She's off to the penalty box now. It's a power jam for Lucy Flawless. No lead in hand, though. We're going to go the full 2 minutes in this one.
Flawless with just enough stink on it. He managed to sneak past. Picking up 5 more points for the Car Hops.
Supertramp got a cutting the track penalty. She's off to the penalty box.
And another 5 points with some sneaky skating there by Lucy Flawless. However, it looks like Andy Linquin is on her way to the penalty box.
Andy Linquin off to the penalty box as well.
Roxy Balboa forced to the outside, but makes her way back through the pack.
5 points up on the board for Lucy Flawless. Both jammers in a point scoring position now. Lucy Flawless with sweeps around the outside at turn 4. Gets forced to the outside, but some impressive moves. Roxy Balboa with 4 as she rounds the track.
Lucy Flawless almost taking out Squid Vicious.
Sour Cherry knocking Lucy Flawless to the inside. 2 points to the Car Hops, 3 to the Rotten Angels at the end of Jam 20. Car Hops now past the 3-digit mark at 105. Rotten Angels at 53. 3 minutes and 30 seconds left to play in this first half.
Also, huge thanks to Rad Printing, Nerd Roller Skates, Peloton Cycle, and Karma Yoga. All these people help make these shows happen. Men of Fright and Black Betty jamming. Men of Fright, of course, for the Car Hops, and Black Betty for the Rotten Angels. Men of Fright does pick up lead jam. Both jammers, however, are in scoring position.
Men of Fright rounds turn 4, taps the hips, gets some help from Impalin Nailin. 2 points awarded at the end of Jam 21.
Once again, we've got Badger Badger taking on Monster Maggie. Monster Maggie with a little shoulder check there on Badger Badger to start the excitement off. Both jammers now currently, well, I was about to say tied up by their respective walls, but Monster Maggie gets through and picks up lead jam. Monster
Cut track.
Maggie called for a cut track penalty. So she's headed to the
A little more interesting penalty box. Has to know that's okay. She has to take the long way around. She did pass the point of no return, meaning she's got to go all the way around. No, it's okay. Just in case you weren't aware, their penalty doesn't start until they sit down. So that long route around actually adds to their penalty time.
Badger punching through the pack and grabbing 5 points for the Rotten Angels.
Shell on Earth is off to the penalty box. Badger trying to come through on turn 3. Got knocked to her knees by Taz.
I'm going to say that was going Taz over Tea Kettle.
Clever. Sour Cherry off to the penalty box. Monster Maggie on the track again. Another 4 points for the Car Hops as we enter the final minute of play. Sailor Moonshine off to the penalty box. Small Fry trying to get a piece on Monster Maggie before turn 4. Only slows her down temporarily. 4 points awarded at the end of that jam. 3 to the Rotten Angels as Jam 22 comes to a close. Our score now, 115 for Car Hops. Rotten Angels at 61. And that whistle indicates it's halftime. At the half, we're leaving you again 115 for Car Hops, Rotten Angels at 61. We got a 15-minute break. Folks, if you want to grab a snack or a beverage, do so. Come on back. We got about 15 minutes and we'll get started again right away. All right, folks, well, just about time to get back to the action. Thanks for sticking around. Hope you had a good break. We get one more 30-minute half of play as we left you at the half. 115 to the Cutthroat Car Hops, Rotten Angels at 61. We had 22 or 23 jams in that first half. Let's see how the strategies change and play out in this second half for these teams. As far as I can tell, the beer garden is still open, so if you're interested in coming over and having a drink, you can do that if you're of age, of course. And then once again, don't forget to come on down to Riverstone Pub later for the after party. Join us for an after game beverage. We'd love to see you. Roxy Balboa and Easy Break Oven, your jammers in this first one in the second half. Easy Break Oven victorious lead jam in the hands of the Car Hops, the pack, moving into the stretch. Roxy Balboa free of the pack as well.
And Easy Break gets through the pack, grabs 4 points, and calls off the jam.
An official timeout has been called. Oh, the clock didn't move. Oh. We don't have 30 minutes left. We have 30 minutes minus the first jam to go in this game.
We here at the Calgary Roller Derby Association would like to remind you that time is concentric, and as much as the scoreboard may not have ticked, it did happen.
If you ask my son, time doesn't exist, so really, the game could go on for eternity.
Time doesn't exist. I'm pretty sure I tried that one on my dad, too. Ended with a beating. Ended with the beating. While we've got the opportunity, let's run through them sponsors again. All right, so we've got, of course, our penalty box sponsor, a little more interesting. Dennis Plintz and Associates with Sotheby's International Realty. They provide exceptional marketing and services for buyers and sellers in all price points. If you're looking to buy or sell a house, give them a call or talk to Knocks or Socks Off. Village Brewery, the people providing the libations in the beer area. Takes a village to raise a beer and a beer to raise a village. Their beer tastes good because they brew it from premium local ingredients using traditional craft techniques. Try it in our beer gardens. Yum, yum, yum. And Popeye Media, they offer cutting-edge digital media solutions for corporate marketing and communications, broadcast events, entertainment, and much more. But I'm going to stop talking right now and get back to the action.
Men of Right and Black Betty are jammers as we start this the second jam of our second half.
Second jam, second half. Interesting.
2-2. Men of Right lead jam in the hands of the Car Hops. Black Betty not too far behind. The pack disintegrating between turns 1 and 2. Both jammers making a sprint towards that pack. Hit it and quit it for Men of Right. 2 points at the end of jam 2. 28 minutes and 45 left to play in this second half of this game.
Badger taking the line with Monster Maggie. From my vantage point, it sure looked like Badger was making the game face.
Easy break oven, forcing Badger to the outside temporarily. Sailor Moonshine and Margaret Thrasher helping out as well. Monster Maggie through and lead jam in the hands of the Car Hops.
Badger is through the pack. Monster Maggie on the receiving end of, I believe they called it an elbow, but I could be wrong. Either way, did not look fun.
Lucy Flawless and Roxy Balboa at the jam line. A 5-on-4 advantage for the Car Hops as we start jam 4. Lucy Flawless carefully stepping aside, allowing her teammates to hold Roxy back. Lead jam now to the Car Hops.
That was a pretty slick move. Lucy Flawless getting doing the backwards skating. And
5
found
points.
a hole. Found a hole, picked up 5 points there.
Scourger off to the penalty box for the Rotten Angels. 5 more to Lucy Flawless. Roxy Balboa in pursuit. Lucy Flawless edges sideways through to pick up 3 more points. Calls it off at the end of jam 4.
Black Betty taking the jam line for the Rotten Angels. She's up against Front Page Brews from the Cutthroat Car Hops.
Both jammers trying to split that pack apart. Front Page Brews getting tangled up at the back. Black Betty victorious. Lead jam in the hands of the Rotten Angels now. Front Page Brews getting held back by Sour Cherry.
And no points.
25 minutes and 17 seconds left to play in this game. 5 jams down. Monster Maggie and Badger at the jam line once again.
Monster Maggie with a bit of a running start. Badger was bumped out, or pardon me, bumped inside and had to cycle back. Monster Maggie finds the chance and gets lead jam.
Four points to Monster Maggie. Both jammers free of the pack now. Badger also looking for points. Big shoulder hit on Monster Maggie at the end of that jam. Four points to the Rotten Angels, bringing their score now to 69. Just under 24 minutes left to play in this game. Lucy Flawless and Roxy Balboa preparing to jam in number 7.
Lucy Flawless and Roxy Balboa jamming. Both have shown today to be really, really good jammers. Roxy Balboa picks up lead jam.
Small Fry getting a last piece on Lucy Flawless, but both jammers now free of the pack. Pack holding in between turns 3 and 4. Roxy Balboa trying to edge out a couple points at the end of that one. Looks like one additional point to the Rotten Angels at the end of Jam 7. Bit of a change up here for our teams, more of a pivot line start now. Menefright with a power start. Roxy Balboa starting this one in the penalty box. Menefright looking for that lead and power jam. Facing off against Sour Cherry, she does it. Lead jam to the Carhoffs. Menefright squeezing through past Scourger and Sour Cherry, 5 points.
Menefright plowing into that wall, but clearly the wall was having none of it. Excellent job blocking there by the Rotten Angels. Carhops picking up 5 points on that last run.
21 minutes and 45 seconds left to play. 8 jams down. Jam 9 coming your way. Monster Maggie and Black Betty taking the jam line. 5-on-4 for Carhoff. Sour Cherry starting this next one in the penalty box.
Monster Maggie forced outside, gets caught with a cut track. So she's going to head to the little more interesting penalty box. Black Betty also called on a penalty. So Black Betty released first. Monster Maggie will serve exactly as long as Black Betty did.
With a sprint and through. No lead, of course, because neither jammer has had a clean start to this jam. A full 2 minutes coming your way. Monster Maggie now around the track first. And Delinquent off to the penalty box. Small Fry also off to the penalty box for the Rotten Angels. The pack still holding in turn 2, Jim. We haven't seen them move very far from that position in this jam.
That's for sure. This has been a really solid blocking pack.
Black Betty with her initial pass now. Both jammers in a position to score points. Black Betty through and 4 points up on the board. Just passes turn 4. And a successful star pass over to Taz. She now has the star on, our point scorer, with 5 points now. Sour Cherry off to the penalty box for an insubordination call at the end of that jam. 19 minutes and 11 seconds left to play, 9 jams down, and an official timeout has been called.
We've seen a lot of interesting stuff so far this game, I have to say. It's been a real solid battle. Both teams have put up a really good showing.
Indeed. You know who we haven't thanked yet and sort of pointed out yet is our officials. We got Dick Defone is our head ref for this game. Sledge Antilles, who was our head ref from the previous game, Hang 11. We got Terrifying, Lil Red, Cowboy, and Squid Vicious. Oh, and Luscious Lynn was here earlier as well. So we want to give a huge thank you to all the officials whose job it is to make sure that the game runs smoothly, everybody stays safe, and without them we cannot have a game. So a huge thank you from CRDA and all of you, I'm sure, to the officials for volunteering their time. If you're interested in getting involved in roller derby and don't want to play, there's lots of other things you could do. You could be an announcer, you could be an official, you could be a non-skating official, or just volunteer. There's tons of things to do. So if you're interested, make sure you talk to the gals at the CRDA booth. They have lots more information about getting you involved.
And if your body's as old and broken as mine, you might want to give a thought to taking a look at Cadence Chiropractic and Sports Therapy. Athletes helping athletes. They do chiropractor, active release techniques, massage therapy, acupuncture, and more. And they, most importantly, they help keep our skaters in tip-top shape on and off the track.
Indeed.
I think there might be something wrong with the scoreboard.
It's magic, disappearing points.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like an accurate reflection. We're getting better, yeah. For a minute there, it was just like really, really mean. Like, I take all your points, I go home.
If points were cookies, I'd take them all and go home.
If
Actually,
points,
I'd probably just sit in the corner and eat all the cookies.
I was gonna say, if points were cookies, I would just be really fat right now. Badger taking on Front Page Brews. Front Page picks up lead jam. And as Badger approaches the back of the pack, Front Page calls it off, grabbing 4 points for the Cutthroat Car Hops. Roxy Balboa taking the line for the Rotten Angels, taking on Menafright for the Car Hops. Both jammers finding a hole and making their way through. Menafright picks up lead jam, but it's a skater-on-skater race.
I said it wrong anyways. 1 point to the car hops in that jam. Jam 11 is down, 17 minutes and 45 left to play.
Easy break up and takes the jam line. She's jamming up against Black Betty.
And delinquent off to the penalty box.
It's always important to remember this is a full contact sport, and that is real hard concrete. There is times where people get injured, and a huge thank you to our EMTs that are here to help out. All kidding aside, that side of this just sucks, and I'm glad that everyone was okay.
Menafright and Badger Badger are jammers in jam number 13. Menafright victorious, lead jam in the hands of the car hops. Menafright with some big shoulder hits in the offensive. She's got a power jam, 5 points up on the board as Badger Badger is off to the penalty box. Scourger and teammates trying to keep Menafright slowing down. 5 points more on the board.
And Menafright pulls a couple of sneaky inside moves and picks up another 5 points. Badger Badger did a cool move there and ended up using the two car hops to block for her. 4 points there picked up by Men of Fright for the Cutthroat Car Hops. No points for the Rotten Angels.
Returning jammers, Monster Maggie, Roxy Balboa in teal and black, respectively. We're down to the three-quarter mark now. Cutthroat Car Hops at 189, Rotten Angels at 78.
Monster Maggie and Roxy Balboa, a tentative calculating start. Maggie bumped inside, had to cycle back.
Sour Cherry trying to get a shoulder on Monster Maggie. She gets knocked to her knees, forced to the inside, repositioning back behind the pack. A cut track penalty forced upon Monster Maggie. She's off to the penalty box now.
So that's going to give Roxy Balboa the power jam.
Easy Break Oven and Novel Blonde trying to hold Roxy Balboa back. Slows her down temporarily, but 5 points up on the board for the Rotten Angels.
Roxy Balboa finds a hole and sneaks through. 5 points. And when you can't find a hole, you punch one. Monster Maggie through the pack on her initial pass. Roxy Balboa also picking up another 4 points. Monster Maggie grabs 4 points. Roxy Balboa picks up another 4 points.
An additional 1 point up on the board for the Car Hops, and they're excited about it. 12 minutes and 45 left to play in the game, 14 jams down. Badger and Lucy Flawless going toe-to-toe now. The penalty box is empty once again. It's a full 5-on-5 as we start jam 15.
And we have an official timeout. Our zebras need to discuss probably really important stuff too. Harley Davidson. Sometimes you got to get your motor running.
And
Maybe
headed on the highway.
Headed on the highway, you know, looking for adventure and whatever comes our way.
Something's going to make it happen.
Take the world in your love embrace. Pew, 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 pew.
Fire all of your guns.
At once.
Yeah.
Badger, and Lucy Flawless, neither of whom will be firing guns during this jam. Flawless encountering a strong, solid blocking black wall. Badger encountering the same, but in teal.
Pack stretching out in between turns 1 and 2. Lucy Flawless now lead jam, rounding the track. Badger getting knocked around and to the outside. Taz and Jigsaw also repositioning back on the track behind the pivot line.
A lot of really good, solid blocking happening right now. Flawless does make her way through and picks up 5 points. But she worked for every one of those.
She earned those ones. Those were hard fought for sure.
Speaking of working hard, Badger just made her way through the pack. Again, both teams putting up solid defense right now. It's almost as if they don't want the other team to score.
One might think that. However,
I am a cagey spectator of the game.
studies show.
I sip it like a fine wine out of a plastic cup.
Rotten Angels now past the 3-digit mark at 101. 10 minutes and 45 left to play in this game. Roxy Balboa and Front Page Brews, opponents at the jam line.
Roxy Balboa jamming for the Rotten Angels up against Front Page Brews. And Front Page picks up lead jam. And it looks like Sour Cherry's on the way to the penalty box. Did not see the call. Front Page picks up 5 points for the Car Hops.
Front Page trying to rush the back of the pack for additional points. Pays off for 3. Final 10 minutes of play in this game. 16 jams down. A timeout has been called by the Rotten Angels. Perfect opportunity to just give a last call for the folks in Vendors Village. We got the bake sale there. I think there might be a couple things left if you're still hungry. Beer garden's still open for the time being, but it won't be for too much longer. Lloyd is leading the after party, the beer garden party, and I've totally lost my train of thought now.
Well, you know why? It's because the original Kim Mitchell lyrics were, "I am a Lloyd party."
Might as well go for a beer.
Yep, absolutely. It's never too late to make bad decisions.
I think Lloyd just shows up to mess me up. Anyway.
Well, and to yell at the refs.
Now someone's got to lead the beer garden. Who do we want to thank? Vendors and Vendors Village, thanks again. We got all of our sponsors. A little more interesting, Calgary Sex Positive Store, Dennis Plintz and Associates, Village Brewery, Popeye Media, Arson Behind the Wheels of Steel, Cadence Chiropractic and Sports Therapy, Vasili's Greek Food Truck, who came out tonight to serve some food, Calgary Harley Davidson, Calgary Jump Crew, thanks for the halftime entertainment.
And I want to thank you, Stay Puffed. It's always fun calling a game with you, buddy.
Thanks, Jim. I love hanging out with you, too.
Black Betty jamming for the Rotten Angels, taking on Easy Break Oven. Easy Break picks up lead jam. Looks like Ann Delinquent's on her way to the penalty box. Did not see what the call was.
I believe it was a forearm.
A forearm. She does seem forearmy.
Well, she only has 2, so I don't know how they give her forearms, but whatever. 4 points to Car Hops at the end of that one. And a power... Nope. Sorry. Yes, a power start for the Car Hops, Monster Maggie. Very tight start for our pack. It's 4-on-4 as we start this next one.
Monster Maggie with some clever footwork gets through the pack right away. Turns this power start into a power jam.
That was a bit of a sneak attack. I like that. Deke to the right, move to the left.
And Monster Maggie grabbing 5 points for the Car Hops. Meanwhile, Birkenstocker heading to the penalty box, which should make things a little more interesting. Monster Maggie again punching through the pack, signaling the beer garden that she does appreciate their candor. And 2 more points picked up by the Car Hops. 1 more point picked up by
Rotten Angels.
the Rotten Angels.
7 minutes and 35 left to play in this game. 18 jams down. A pivot line start to start jam 19.
Badger taking on Lucy Flawless. Flawless picking up that lead jam. Badger had a path in front of her and just got tapped out or to the inside, so she had to cycle back, allowing Flawless to get that lead jam spot.
Four points to the Car Hops at the end of jam 19. 6 minutes and 42 left to play.
It's another high jam count. Roxy Balboa taking the line for the Rotten Angels. Men of Fright for the Car Hops.
Both jammers trying to make a sprint. It's a race at the end. Roxy Balboa, lead jammer for the Rotten Angels.
Meanwhile, Men of Fright forced way back. And Roxy Balboa punching through the pack, grabbing 5 points for the Rotten Angels. Men of Fright tangling with Small Fry. And Small Fry making Men of Fright work for it.
Men of Fright deciding to hang on to that star cover. Roxy Balboa looking to make her way past Easy Break Oven and Impalin' Nailin'. Gets forced to the outside. Taps the hips and calls it off.
And if you'll notice at the center of the track, our track is always maintained to make sure that the only anomaly is the one fixing the track. Waka waka.
With such style and grace, Jim. That was good. There she is.
Black Betty taking the line up against Monster Maggie. And Monster Maggie punches through for that lead jam.
Black Betty getting forced all the way back almost to the jam line by Ann Delinquent. Rejoins her team at the front. Keeps that wall strong.
Five points picked up by Monster Maggie. And another 5 points for the Car Hops.
Monster Maggie getting some love from the crowd. Do you see that? She was stirring it up.
And Monster Maggie picking up 5 points. Black Betty making it through the pack and making it through one heck of a slug. She did hard work.
This is true, Jim. You only speak the truth, brother.
I'm basically like a magical sitar.
3 minutes left up on the clock in this game. 21 jams already gone.
Badger taking the line up against Front Page Brews. And Badger picks up lead jam.
Pack separating into the stretch. Front page Brews free of the pack once again. Pack now moving between turns 3 and 4. Badger trying to find an opening on turn 4. Lucy Flawless got a piece of her. Knocked her to the outside. A tumble in turn 4. Menafright and Roxy Balboa at the jam line. Jam 23. Less than 2 minutes left to play in this game. Both jammers getting forced to reposition after the jam line.
You know, it sounds so easy on paper. You just skate around and go through the pack, but this is proof after a very, very long, hard-fought game, the amount of endurance all of these players have.
Indeed.
There is nothing easy happening here.
No, you can see the fatigue and the anguish on their faces now.
Pack moving quickly. Car Hops pick up 2 points in that last very speedy lap. No points for the Rotten Angels.
An official timeout has been called to correct the clock. I think maybe check the scores a little bit. We're at the final minute of play either way.
Car Hops sending Jigsaw to the jammer line. She'll be taking on Badger.
Folks, this might be your last chance to give it up for the team that you're cheering for. Final minute of play.
This is your last jam.
Jigsaw fighting against that front wall.
Honey Badger called on a cut track, sent to the little more interesting penalty box.
Jigsaw still looking for that opening, getting some help from her teammates, finding an opportunity for her to pick up that lead.
Jigsaw gets lead jam. But she has yet to meet the elite Republican Guard.
Big shoulder hit from Jigsaw, and Supertramp takes a spill. Scourger at the front of that pack, holding her at bay. Sour Cherry waiting just behind.
Badger really doing a great job of splitting up the pack.
It's like knocking out bowling pins. One to the left, one to the right.
Bowling pins that hit back.
Lucy Flawless off to the penalty box. Badger through, has her initial pass, able to score points now.
Badger picking up 4 points for the Rotten Angels. Coach Rotten very, very happy with that.
All right, and with that cacophony of whistles, that'll end this game. Unofficial final at the end of two halves, 2:52 for Cutthroat Car Hops. Rotten Angels at 119. Hang tight for the official score. And once again, if you want to show these teams some love, step out to the track, give a high five as they come around.
I can honestly say that was a bunch of fun.
It was a super fun event. Both games were great. I was waiting for one more. Final score at the end of two halves, 252-119. Folks, thanks again so much for coming out and having fun with us. Next game right here, August 15th. It's a Saturday night, Triwood Arena. Make sure you come on back. Tell some friends. Bring them out. Come hang out with us again. We love to see you again. Take care and drive safe.